Hey, what's up, guys? Another week. We're at Zandvoort. That's how you pronounce it. Gonna grab my setup from Barber, because these tracks kind of have a lot of similarities. A lot of elevation changes, sweeping corners. So, we'll see how this goes. Full disclosure, this probably isn't my favorite track in the world. Oh, shoot, I don't know why, but this V2 wheel, I don't know if it's because I switch from the Formula 1 wheel so much to the 918 wheel, but every time I switch, I have to recalibrate. Not that big a deal. Just one of those things. Alright. So I gotta say, not my favorite track in the world. But it's not a bad track, it's just I don't think I've ran on it enough. Done pretty limited racing here, so but it seems like it'd be a track I'd really like just because it's so twisty, turny, and it's kind of more like an actual road, which is the kind of stuff I like. So I think I think it's hard to really get max speed out of this track because it is a pretty fast track, and there's just a lot of technical sections where if you barely mess up, you're going in a wall. I'd say it's a pretty, as far as making mistakes, it's not too forgiving. So it has that extra little edge to it. It's a very technical track. Usually when I don't like a track, it just means I haven't fully learned it yet. Kind of like Coda a couple weeks ago. Hated it in the beginning, but once I really started to figure the track out and get into the flow of the track, I started to like it. Enjoyed the challenges the track provided. That corner's always giving me trouble. This is a technical track. Dip back down into third for that corner. Down to second. I think I want to keep that as close to that inner curb as I can. Out that corner. And up here, just keep it in fifth. I have to come down to fourth. Wait to get back on the gas. Pretty much braking. I don't think I need to go to second, but braking at that white line back there. Not a lot of braking markers on this track either. So up here, braking at the white line pretty much. A little bit past it. Try and keep that as close to that curb as possible. Up here, brake a little after the 50 marker, third gear. Oh. Whoa. Oh. It's a little rough out there. I just took the front of the car and tossed it. Started because I got a little too bumpy there and it kind of pushed out, and then, oh yeah, don't want to go out and do that stuff. I think I can get back on the gas when there's that curb on the inside for that downhill. I think that's where I'll be getting back on the gas for that corner. Pretty much braking at that 100 board that's on the left there. Come up here, brake after the 50. And gotta let off the gas a little bit just to get the front end to rotate and then get back on the gas. Braking at the white line. Seemed like a pretty good braking spot. Could have broke a little more aggressively. Got the car wound down a little bit more. If I want to be conservative, I'd back it up a couple feet. Fun little section right here. So fourth gear, you'll see this little curb on the right I was talking about. I pushed out a little bit that time, but basically once I get to that curb, I'm going to be getting back on the throttle. Only go down to third, clip the apex, carry a lot of speed, way outside. Down to second, try and get the car turn. And down to second again. And up here, we'll brake at the 100 board on the left. A little bit after. Just gotta wait for that car to turn before I can get on the gas. I don't think you really want to touch that curb back there on the right. Pushes you out. Kind of wanted to push out there when I got on the gas. There's a little sign on the right there. It almost looks like a U-turn sign. I think that's where I'm going to be using my braking point for that last or right-hander. It's the deepest I broke that time. I broke way past that board I was talking about earlier, almost to the curbs. I think that's about as deep as I can break there. Again, I'm going to try and go for that late apex. Best I got through that last corner. Still had to let off the gas, so. Yeah, it's much better if you don't hit that curb. Front end washed out on me right there. I think I might be going up too many gears. Those last two corners. Right now, I'm just trying to analyze the car and see what I can start working on because I'm getting pretty close to maxing out my pace with this setup. Kind of thinking about helping the front end rotate a little bit more, get a little bit more grip in the front end. Especially for the middle of the corner. Ooh, I just tried to get on the gas way too early. Went down to second gear for no reason. Alright, so I want to do something for the front end. Go with the softer springs in the front. Front end feels a little stiff. So, ooh, wow. Look at all that range of adjustments we can make. So I'm gonna go down one click on the front springs. And this is a pretty holistic change because you're changing the spring, so it affects all the dampening. But I'm just going for a little bit softer front end. I want to get a little bit more roll in it. So with the softer front springs, when you're turning it a quarter, there won't be so much resistance. So then the car will want to roll a little bit more. And hopefully I can get more of that weight on the outside tire going through the corners, and then that'll help. Because when the car rolls more, excuse me. Okay. When the car doesn't roll enough, then that outside tire won't optimize its grip levels, and it'll cause it to push. If the car rolls too much, then it'll overdo that outside tire's grip levels, and the car will push again. So you gotta find that little sweet spot. Plus, with all the bumps on this track, I think softer springs will help, because this is a rougher track, and with the softer springs, the car will be a little bit more compliant over the track. So I'm really just looking for a little bit of more grip up front. Also, change the ride height a little bit, because you put the softer springs in, so they don't have as much resistance to hold the car up, so the car will sag a little bit more. Now, with the front end being a little bit lower, will give me a little bit more rake too, which always promotes more oversteer. Man, that's got to be a trip to go through that corner in real life, flat out. That has got to get your attention. Gotta be a fun track to drive in. I gotta stop going second gear there. It's gotta be a fun track to drive in real life, though. It's always keeping you busy. Did improve our lap time, but, you know, that was the first fine lap on really good tires, so not gonna put too much weight into it. Can feel the front end does want to stay down a little bit longer through the corner, but it is still doing like a minor little pogo, where it kind of can't make up its mind if it wants to. I went way too fast through there. Can't make up its mind if it wants to turn or not. Rear end wants to get a little loose coming out of that corner. That felt good through that section. Alright, only going down to third gear this time. The car is definitely more compliant over those inside bumps than it was before I made that spring change as well. Ooh, man, picked up half a second. I say that was a good change. So yeah, through that last little hairpin, there wasn't any PO going at all. Just held its line. Right there, it still does a little push. Car's got pretty good mid-corner rotation now. It's pretty hooked up through that corner. Ooh. Got through that corner really nice. Alright. Made good progress with that setup change. I think I'm just going to do it again. See if, see if it still benefits me. Yeah, watch the change in ride height. Went down about 0.7 millimeters. Oops. Before I do that, though, you gotta always save your setup. You don't want to get too far in it. And then, you know, have to backtrack and can't remember what you did, and it's easier just to reload the setup. Just double check, yep. So again, we're just doing the same thing we did before, just softening up that front end to hopefully get it to just be more compliant. Just roll a little bit better. Get that grip on the outside. Like I was saying before, you can definitely overdo it and then make the front end too sloppy. And it'll have the same effect as it being too tight, and it'll push. And the car won't be as responsive. Stiffer the suspension, the more responsive your car is going to be, just as a general rule. So I'm really just seeing if it bottoms out and if it continues to help the front end turn, or if it's kind of getting to a point where you're finding the optimal spring rates for the front. It's retarded. So I got that cold last week, and that was like a body flu, and now I'm back to work and ended up getting a head cold, so now I got like a stuffy nose and cough. It's been like 2 weeks of sick over it. So that's probably why I sound like got something stuck up my nose. Alright. Ooh. That felt good. But first lap. But the front end is just tracking now. Front end. I did the best job of staying planted around that last corner. I had to lift the least out of any time I've gone through that corner. They're gonna get a little loose on me. Going through that last right-hander. I think that's just something I have to pay attention to. Kind of had a bad line going through there. Had to put more wheel on the exit of the corner, which will, when you try and put the throttle down, will cause a snap oversteer. Well, I can't even feel the bumps on the inside anymore now with those soft springs. That'll lift a little bit more that time. They'd get a purple sector though. Yeah, so front end's really staying nice and planted now throughout the corner. Take a little bit wider line through here this time. I think that's a key. Middle to late apex for that corner, and nice wide entry, and it won't want to spit out on you. And don't go into first gear there. Can't even feel those bumps. I mean, I can feel them, but they're not affecting the steering of the car now. Those softer springs. I almost think it's better to double apex that 180-degree left-hander back there, that hairpin, instead of just trying to hug the inside line all the way around. So again, nice wide entry. Kind of missed my apex there. Just carried a smidge too much speed into the corner. And late apex here. We went purple in sector 3. Takes that curb beautifully. Again, really handles those curbs on the inside nicely there. And try to get that late apex. Alright, so I'm going to definitely stick with this front spring change. It's helping that front end to stay down a little bit longer. Helping that front end grip a little bit better. So this time we'll try and let it swing out. Let it swing out way too much. Purple sector 1 though. Yeah, I think a little mini double apex is going to be the way to go for that left-hander back there. Ooh. Barely touched the grass there on the outside. That's better through there. Yeah, that's nice. Not so nice. Alright, so let it come out just a little bit. Something like that. I think that's going to work better to get a good run out of here. Carry your speed all the way through this section. Definitely going to do a lot of laps before I do a race. Just because I still have to get all the muscle memory down for the track. It's at that point where I'm not even really thinking about it anymore. Wow, that felt really good coming out of there. Full throttle, nice and hooked up. Took a lot of curb there. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna call it. First time I've ever used. Wow, that's a gnarly pit entry. That's old school. Alright. So, should be a good baseline for you guys. Just not really feeling like making hour-long videos right now. Hope you guys can understand. First, we'll save that. Alright, guys. See you in the next one.